everyone. Today I've got a review of The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Steadman. This tells the story of Tom and Isabel Sherborne. They find a boat washed up on Janus Rock, which is the lighthouse where Tom works, and inside is a dead body and a small baby who is still alive. They decide to keep the child rather than reporting to the authorities that they've found this boat washed up, and it sort of just tells the story of them raising their daughter, who they call Lucy, and then of course after that sort of initial honeymoon happy period where they're just the three of them, sort of the devastation that their decision has made. I read this for book club in May, and I really enjoyed it. It was a great book for book club. We sort of had a really good discussion about the story. I loved the character of Tom. I thought he was just a nice character. It's set in the aftermath of the First World War. So Tom's come back from that quite damaged, as many men at that time were, and he sort of come straight from that and gone to Janus Rock to relieve the previous lighthouse keeper who committed suicide. So he meets Isabel sort of on one of the first days that he's there, and they strike up a little friendship and they end up getting married. He's just such a likeable, calm character. You can really relate to him, and he just has this lovely manner about him, I guess. On the other hand, Isabel, I like her so much. I just thought she was very selfish. She was a good mother to Lucy, but apart from that, I didn't really feel like she had any redeeming qualities. And that really, I suppose, made it hard for me to connect with her, and it also made it hard for me to, I guess, sympathise and feel sorry for her and her situation. When they find Lucy, they're actually burying their stillborn child, and she has had previous miscarriage as well. So that, I suppose, is the big push for Isabel wanting to keep this baby, because obviously her children have died, and she really wants to be a mother. And she is a very good mother, it's just she's not a very nice person. And I guess Tom and Isabel together, it works well because he sort of balances her out, and I suppose he takes a lot of crap from her, and I suppose in some instances a character like that becomes very unlikable, but there's just something about him. I just really liked him, and I connected with him. Let's just take a wee break and have a look at the beautiful book. There is actually some lovely lighthouse records on the inside and the back end of the end papers as well, but there is a very handy map in here of where it's Australia, and here is Janus Rock and Partagoose, which is the closest town. I didn't even know we had a Janus Rock in Australia. But yes, so God's be damned. I don't know where the Scottish accent's coming from, but I forgot what I was talking about. Moving along. I also thought that Janus Rock and the lighthouse was almost a character unto itself, I should say. There were quite a few descriptive passages about the lighthouse and daily life on the lighthouse, and that was actually a sort of a bone of contention between some of us in the book group. For me, I particularly like those descriptive passages. I thought they were very well written, but there were other members of the group that didn't like them. They thought that it pulled them out of the story, and I guess they wanted they wanted Steadman to be much more concise about her writing. But I think for a first-time novel, she's done pretty well. And she did win, I think it was 2013? Yes. So she's won Book of the Year for the Prime Minister's Awards, I think it is, and Literary Fiction Book of the Year as well. So she did win a few awards for the book. The other characters in this, Hannah, which is Lucy's biological mum, or Grace as Lucy was originally called, she doesn't sort of pop up until about 3 years later, which is when everyone discovers that Lucy is Grace and that she didn't die in the accident. I think because you don't get introduced to that character until then, you again don't connect with her either. You sort of don't care that she's sort of very upset, and pretty much she's almost like had a mental break because, you know, her husband has died, and so apparently has a child as well, which I mean is sad because it is a horrible situation to have been put into, and it was quite funny. We had at the end of the discussion around the table of would you have kept Lucy, and you know, and what would you have done, would you have given her back straight away? My thoughts on that were they should have just given her back straight away, but because they didn't, I don't think that your guilt for taking somebody else's child and not telling them, I was like, well, you know, you made your bed, you should lie in it, sort of thing. You're only going to hurt more people again by blabbing about it afterwards. But then, curiously enough, I was the only person who was not a mother in the group, and they were all, no, she should have been given back, sort of thing. So that was like an interesting take on the whole situation. One of the burning questions, why didn't they just adopt some babies? Seriously, that day and age, single mothers, if you had a child, got yourself into trouble, there wasn't really any abortion. It was have the baby and adopt it out. I don't get why they didn't have I just don't get it. I'm going to wrap this up because my battery is about to die. I do recommend reading it. I thought it was very interesting, and it's so pretty. That shouldn't be the sole reason, right though. But until next time, happy reading. Thanks for watching. Bye.